Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are starting week 4 for the American English preparation course for grade 9. This week we will focus on literature reading strategies. We will learn how to understand short stories, characters, conflicts, and important events. Our lesson today is called Plot Structure and Conflict. A story is not simply a collection of random events. Most stories follow an organized structure. This structure is called the plot. The plot is the sequence of events in a story. It shows what happens, why it happens, and how the characters respond. Most plots have 5 main parts. They are exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. Let us examine each part carefully. The first part is exposition. The exposition is the beginning of the story. It introduces important information such as the characters, the setting, the situation, and sometimes the first sign of a problem. For example, Sarah is a new student at a large school. She does not know anyone, and she is nervous about speaking in front of the class. This is the exposition. We meet Sarah, we learn about the setting, and we understand her situation. The second part is rising action. The rising action begins when a problem or conflict develops. The tension increases, the character faces challenges, makes decisions, or experiences new problems. For example, Sarah learns that she must give a presentation. She prepares carefully, but each time she practices, she becomes more nervous. The conflict becomes stronger. The reader wants to know what Sarah will do. The third part is the climax. The climax is the most intense or important moment in the story. It is usually the turning point. The character faces the biggest challenge or makes an important decision. For example, Sarah stands in front of the class. Her hands shake, but she takes a deep breath and begins to speak. This is the moment when she must face her fear. The fourth part is falling action. The falling action shows what happens after the climax. The tension begins to increase or to decrease. The results of the character's decision become clear. For example, Sarah finishes her presentation. Her classmates smile, and the teacher thanks her for speaking clearly. The main challenge has passed. The fifth part is resolution. The resolution is the ending of the story. It explains how the main problem is solved or how the character has changed. For example, Sarah realizes that she can speak confidently when she prepares and faces her fear. The story reaches a conclusion. Now let us talk about conflict. Conflict is the main struggle or problem in a story. Conflict creates tension and gives the character something to overcome. Without conflict, a story may feel flat or uninteresting. There are two major categories of conflict: internal conflict and external conflict. Internal conflict happens inside the character's mind. The character may struggle with fear, doubt, guilt, a difficult decision, or conflicting emotions. For example, Sarah wants to give a good presentation, but she is afraid of failing. This is internal conflict. The struggle is happening inside Sarah. External conflict happens between the character and an outside force. The outside force may be another character, a rule or society, nature, technology, or a difficult situation. For example, Sarah must give a presentation in front of the whole class. This is an external challenge. The presentation is a situation she must face. A story can include both internal and external conflict at the same time. Let us look at another example. Nora held the speech card tightly. The class waited. Her best friend smiled, but Nora noticed the principal standing near the door. She wanted to sit down. Yet, she remembered how long she had practiced. Finally, she walked toward the front of the room. What is the exposition? We learn that Nora is in a classroom and is preparing to give a speech. What is the external conflict? Nora must speak in front of the class and the principal. What is the internal conflict? She wants to sit down because she is nervous, but she also wants to use what she practiced. What is the turning point? The turning point happens when Nora walks toward the front of the room. This action shows that she has decided to face the challenge. Why does conflict matter? Conflict does more than create excitement. Conflict reveals character. We understand a person more clearly when we see how that person responds to pressure. A character who continues despite fear may be determined, brave, responsible, or resilient. A character who avoids every challenge may be fearful, unprepared, or uncertain. However, always use evidence from the story before choosing a character trait. Let us practice with a short story. Adam had spent 2 weeks building a model bridge for the science fair. On the morning of the presentation, one side of the bridge broke. Adam felt angry and wanted to leave the project at home. His sister reminded him that the judges wanted to understand his process. Not only is he a perfect model, Adam repaired the bridge with simple materials and explained what he had learned from the mistake. What is the exposition? Adam has built a model bridge for a science fair. What begins the rising action? One side of the bridge breaks. What is Adam's internal conflict? He feels angry and considers giving up. What is the external conflict? The model is damaged before the presentation. What is the climax? Adam decided to repair the bridge and present it. What is the resolution? He explains what he learned from the mistake. What does the conflict reveal about Adam? At first he feels discouraged, but later he shows the determination and adaptability. Here is a useful plot checklist. Ask, who are the main characters? Where and when does the story happen? What problem begins the action? How does the tension increase? What is the most important turning point? What happens after the climax? How is the conflict solved? And how does the character change? Let us review. Plot is the organized sequence of events in a story. Conflict is the struggle that moves the plot forward. The exposition introduces the characters, setting, and situation. The rising action develops the conflict and increases tension. The climax is the most important turning point. The following action shows the results of the climax, and the resolution completes the story. Internal conflict happens inside a character's mind. External conflict happens between the character and an outside force. Always support your answers with evidence from the story. In the next lesson, we will learn how to analyze, character traits and motivation. Thank you for watching. Keep learning, keep practicing, and I will see you in the next lesson.